everybody, welcome back to another episode of the DAO Envelop podcast. I'm your host, Eugene Klippe, MC, and today's France episode, because I'm having William Bailey, is CEO of BoleroMusic, and BoleroMusic is a Web3 platform that brings artists and fans closer together through fan tokens and music NFTs. So if you are a musician, and I'm, for example, a musician, I play guitar, this is going to be a quite interesting episode for you. So William, it's great to have you on our podcast.
Hi, Eugene. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with your personal story. How long have you been in the blockchain space? How did you start there? What are your main results for now? Are you satisfied?
Yeah. We're doing good. So actually, I jumped in the space back in 2019. So back at that time, I was simply, going down the rabbit hole. I wrote a thesis about blockchain, about the sharing economy and tokenization. And based on this, appealing trend and also what was happening in different economy, I saw this technology as being super disruptive, but also I was really interested in the fact that Ethereum, and back at the time, Ethereum was the most known applicative blockchain. I thought it would be super interesting to see how we could build apps on top of this protocol. So this was the starting point. And back in 2020, after the first lockdown, I had this idea because I have a few friends in the music industry in Paris, and I'm deeply passionate about music. So I just thought that it would be great and it could solve a lot of issues in the music industry if we could simply tokenize the artist and also put back the fans in the middle of the value chain. So this was the idea inception. Then I met Arthur, who is the co-founder and CTO of Bolero, and we have started the company in December 2020. So now we have been operating for more than a year and a half, and we're doing pretty great actually. It's passionate times. It's really exciting to push an industry forward into this space to see how we can create the best practices, but also educate a lot of people about this industry. So yeah, kind in a nutshell, it's the story.
Amazing. I love to talk to people who come from traditional way, not from tech savvy and blockchain space, who do see the real world, who do understand their real requirements, and they do see the potential of Web3 to change the world, and they can how to intersect FIAPs, the music industry, and Web3. So how did you come up with the idea of Bolero, and what market problems in music industry you are perhaps very experienced in Bolero aims to solve?
Yeah, so actually, I think everybody knows that the music industry is kind of broken, if we can say. So it's actually doing well on the streaming perspective because now it generates like enough amount of money on a volume perspective, but still artists, producers, and composers are still, struggling to be well paid. So this was like the main pain point we saw. And we simply thought about how we could create a new kind of revenue that would be complementary to the already existing revenues and that will be sustainable, but also recurring. And that's why we actually chose to use Web3 assets. So fungible tokens on the one hand and non-fungible tokens on the other hand. And so this was like the main issue in the music industry. And regarding the fans experience, we thought that it would be awesome to be able to share the success of your favorite artists. Like a lot of people, are digging for new gems, discovering talented artists, but still when the artist breaks up, and becomes a global star, for instance, for the most lucky ones, you don't have anything, you don't receive anything. And now with Web3 and Bolero, we are unlocking a new layer in the fan experience, which is I'm becoming the partner of the artist. And if the artist succeed, then I will be successful with him or her. So on the one hand, a brand new recurring revenue for artists to solve this streaming, issue that we are observing since a few years, and on the other hand, the brand new fan experience layer.
Well, explain us please how Bolero works, in general, what are fan tokens and music NFTs?
Yeah, sure. So it's simply an app. So basically, when you land on Bolero, you will be able to discover artists. So maybe one of your favorite artists or new ones that you can discover. And you are able to invest in those artists with the fan token, which you can consider as a membership card, digital membership card, or a stock. It's like buying a stake in an artist's career. And if you want to collect specific artworks or even pieces of tracks like master shares, you are able to do so. So you simply land on the platform, you start to do your investments, you find friends, you find people with common interest centers, and then there is a social layer on top of the app. So once you have your assets, once you are starting to get used to the app, you get recommended with new artists, and you can also invest with your friends.
Well, who are core team members of Bolero, and maybe are you hiring? Who do you need on this stage?
Yeah, so actually we are 12 in Paris now. So we have 2 people working full remote. We have a pretty solid technical team, obviously, because it's critical when you're building in the space. But we are actively hiring in marketing at the moment.
Yeah.
So the thing is the chance we have, and it's the same with software companies, you don't have to be 100 of people to succeed and to make a global product. So we don't need to be 30 people, but we would like to have more talents in the team, and for instance in the marketing, but also in the product team.
Definitely. Where is Bolero on its roadmap for now in the middle of 2022? What are plans till the end of the year?
So I assume that we have some early adopters listeners, so they will understand this. We are deployed on the Polygon protocol, so on the mainnet. So the app is actively operating at the moment. So we already have fan tokens, NFTs in the app. What we plan in the coming month is obviously extending the catalog to be able to touch new territories, but also new regions. And we plan to release some great social features. I'm not able to say a lot about this at the moment, but we are definitely active into this angle.
Well, I'd love to ask you about what's going on in France. Exactly. Honestly, I don't know so much. I know that the largest Ethereum conference named 8th CC takes place there, and the upcoming conference, 5th conference, will be taking place very, very soon. So what's going on in July? What's going on in France regarding crypto?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. So yeah, and like SCC is one of the best conference. We already attend last year. We are coming back this year. So if you want to catch up, you will be able to find us. I will have a talk there. So basically in France, what you need to understand is that there is a really dense pool of talents in Web3. So a lot of people have jumped into this space in the last 12 to 18 months. So we have a lot of great developers. We have a lot of great strategists, product designers. So yeah, it's really dynamic. So it's pretty exciting to see this. We also have, a pretty framed legal environment. So the government has already, regulated the Web3 space and how it works. How do you manage your taxes? How do you manage all the fiscality around Web3? So it's a great place to build, actually. It's a really good place to build. And yeah, that's all. And yeah, I'm we already have So Rare. We already have, dozens of great startups in Web3. So I'm pretty bullish about this. And I think in the coming years, we will see more and more French great companies going global.
Amazing to hear. I will put the link on 8th CC 5th conference. So if I'm not mistaken, listeners to me who are in France, will be in France, will be able to meet you personally and the BoleroMusic.
Yeah, with pleasure. And my direct messages are opened on Twitter, so feel free to
amazing. Music industry is open-minded. It's so very dynamic. And it has seen drastic changes on the last 40 or 50 years, from vinyl, how to say this, plastic discs, from till compact disc, till MP3 players, and now NFTs, record industry has drastically changed. So do you have any vision how non-fungible tokens and Web3 will change the production, distribution, and consuming music products and the whole music industry in 10 years? What we'll see?
Yeah, that's a great question. We could talk about this for hours, but I'm gonna try to be synthetic about this. So it's pretty simple. If you take the value chain of the music industry, each point of this value chain will be transferred by Web3. The only thing is, like, the major pain point today is accessibility. So whether you are a major, a record label, an editor, a producer, an artist, a composer, you will be facing Web3 in your career, and you will maybe face Web3 in your revenues gains, you know? So on the distribution perspective, I think that we will see a lot of companies building into, and already existing companies like the major distributors in the world are already working on this, but they will use blockchain. And I don't know if it will be public protocols, maybe at the beginning, mostly private protocols, but they will use it to improve the redistribution chain of royalties and paychecks to artists. Because today it's really centralized, obviously. So you have to trust today the platforms, but the figures that they put to your face. And tomorrow with blockchain, it will be, you know, a no-brainer. So you will trust the figures that you see. So this is for the distribution perspective. Regarding the fan relationship and the promotion perspective, actually, you have to keep in mind that an NFT is a box. So actually, you can put any kind of content inside. And what we will see is that more and more artists will leverage these new formats to offer new experiences, but also to diversify their business model. So if you take the live industry, for instance, more and more artists will use NFTs as passes and festival access and concert tickets. Like, we already have experience with one of our artists, which is who is named Oscar Anton. So we have released 20 NFTs for his European tour this year, and people were able to buy it to come to the rehearsal before the concert. So this is a new kind of medium, you know. And finally, I don't know how long it will take, because to be honest, I think that the streaming platforms are here to stay. But maybe tomorrow you will be streaming blockchain powered content. So instead of streaming music that is hosted on a centralized database, maybe you will be streaming music from the blockchain. But with the current state of the art and the current velocity of the protocols, it's still a little bit hard to put that in place and to improve the current experience that the user can have.
Definitely. The main, from ideological point of view, Web3 aims to disrupt all the industries where we have a lot of intermediaries, and music record industry has traditionally been the industry where a lot of middlemen, record companies being, and they have to be ready to disrupt. I don't know how they will survive, but that's another part of the story. So if you are a musician, if you are looking into the way of into the side of Web3, that's a great point to meet William personally in Paris and to talk. Oh, by the way, what are the most renowned world use cases of utilizing NFTs in the music industry? If I'm not mistaken, this famous rapper Blau, right, from US, had implemented.
So he's actually a DJ.
A DJ, yeah.
Yeah, but there are many artists experimenting, you know, into this space. So actually, they are, you know, using it for live purposes, but also to sell scarce copies of a specific track. They are using it to sell visuals, album covers. So, you know, the use cases are pretty infinite. The only thing is, fans, they are going to ask for value. And since we are living this kind of NFT bubble that we have experienced in the last month, and thank God, because we will be more, you know, focused on the fundamentals, and I think it will be great to clean the market. But anyway, that's another topic. Yeah, I think that's, and this is why at Bolero, we chose to sell master shares and parts of royalties attached to a specific tracks, because we think that when you're a fan, the most powerful emotion or feeling that you can have is owning a piece of a track that you stream. And when you own this, you collect a passive revenue based on the exploitation of the track. And this is basically the most powerful thing that you can offer in a pretty evolutive music industry. So I think this will be the killer use case. But still, I really think that the easiest way to onboard and to convert Web2 people to Web3 are the fan tokens, because they are accessible, they are cheap, so you don't need to put several hundreds of dollars to be able to join the experience, and they are liquid. They are liquid enough. So if you want to quit the experience, you can. And this is why, like the NFT at Bolero, we use them as premium format for premium content, and fan tokens to gather people and gather communities.
I remember how 30 years ago we collected posters of artists, then 20 years ago we collected compact discs of artists, and now we're in an epoch where we'll be collecting NFTs of the artists for directly communicate with him. For sure, that's the main disruption.
But you'll see, you will not be collecting NFTs. Actually, you will be collecting pieces of tracks, because don't forget that NFT is only a tool. Like, we don't care that it is an NFT, and most of the people don't care about this because it's complicated, and the average user already benefits from a lot of easy UX. Easy user experience. So you don't want to, spoil him or her with NFTs and Web3 terms. So that's why you need to put the NFT in the background. And what you will be collecting is, from the beginning of the ages, it will be the same thing. It will be piece of arts, piece of, memories and stuff like this.
Well, from the technical point of view, because this, you've already mentioned the technical barrier, it's quite sophisticated. Isn't it hard to onboard first musicians to explaining what a hell NFT is and why they need it, and second, to fans who need to have their NFTs? Isn't that a barrier for developing Bolero?
Yeah, sure. There are a lot of roadblocks, but like with any kind of innovation, basically, when you are bringing something new on the table, you have to be able to distribute it correctly and execute it correctly to make it simple for people. What I think personally is that people are always eager and curious to benefit from new kind of value. And it doesn't mind what type of value it is or in which forms it comes. So you just have to be well-grounded enough to educate easily and also to make stuff simple. And that's why I was saying this, like, put back the NFT in its tool nature, put back the fan token in its tool nature. I think this is the sweet spot, and people will, buy the experience. They will buy the why. They will buy the why you are doing it. They will not buy the what. And this is why also artists have to keep in mind that all these Web3 trends, etc., it's great to be on Twitter. It's a nice place to grow a community, but it's not critical. You can do the same on any kind of other social media. You can do that in physical events. You just have to be able to explain it clearly. And, you also have to, by explaining the why, also the fans will not be only focused on the speculation aspect of the practice. They will be focused on all the value that they own, and also what kind of, is it entitled them. So yeah, I think it's this perspective. So there are a lot of roadblocks, but since we are pushing forward, and since artists are getting more and more experience about this new space, actually, I think it's going to be pretty quick. And I think that 2023 is definitely the year of music and Web3.
Yeah, totally. Nobody said that it would be easy to implement new innovations and new technologies, but we do see inevitable Web3 will disrupt. We do understand, because the philosophy of removing intermediaries and direct connect P2P very easy. It's quite obvious for not to be popular. And you mentioned royalties recently, and this is the great point to ask you a professional question from Envelop team. You know, the Envelop develops the concept of wrapped NFT, which in particular allows royalties on NFT. It's quite a simple concept. If you're not familiar, I'll explain. So imagine you take an NFT, you add any fungible crypto, for example, Ethereum or USDT for that. Then you add some useful features for that, such as time event lock or royalties or rental mechanics. You wrap it, and technically you get another NFT with the same metadata, and it acts like an NFT container or wallet with the same metadata, with fungible crypto inside, with predictable price due to crypto, and with great features. So it has more predictable price. And finally, it leads to dozens of use cases in different ways. And we are involved. We are exploring, and this podcast is a way to explore what do people think about this. What are your general thoughts on this concept of wrapped NFT? Could it be useful for Bolero's purposes?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Like people, people that like, as I was mentioning the experience, people like to buy bundles, and you already can see that in, classic merchandising, e-commerce, like people are buying bundles. So it's a nice way to, I'd say, aggregate value to a specific asset or a specific object. And I think that the only challenge that exists, but it's more a kind of Web2 challenge, is how do you translate that in a nice and kind user interface and user experience? Because if you have a lot of things inside one object, you have to make it easily readable, So it could be definitely useful. And actually what I like with this new concept is that you can actually attach two pretty different, hardly different assets into one object. So you don't have to double the promotion. You don't have to make a message about fantokens, make a message about NFTs, make a message about the master share, the visual, the album covers. Here you can bundle everything and sell it. And I think that the fans will love it. And it's a pretty good tool for P2C use cases for sure.
Well, another great thing we are similar, Envelop and Bolero are similar with, is the acquiring of investment from VCs. In 2020, Bolero had raised 1 million from New Fund. And, when we Envelop raised funds from one of the famous, perhaps the most famous brand, Animoca brands, these guys are totally known in the industry. They asked us in the end of 2020, 21st, to sell them our Envelop tokens in the form of wrapped NFT. So we used our own technical feature for our investment ourselves. So why do they ask us to do that? Because this protects startup from token dumping and allows VC with immediate hand liquidity if they choose to sell at a profit before the unlocking dates. So seems quite interesting for investors and for startups. What are your main thoughts, like a startup who has already acquired investment? Is it a useful concept for any crypto project?
Yeah, I think for sure. If you're basically trying to raise funds with blockchain-based assets, such as tokens, which is the most common assets used to raise money today, I think it's a nice way to hedge the company from any kind of market manipulation or hazard behavior. So no, it's actually a pretty good tool. As us at Bolero, for the moment we are going traditional. So actually we have raised equity. We are thinking about making our own token, but it's still a little bit early. We will see later this year or next year. But I think it's super interesting. I think the important notion to mention here is that maybe in some places or for some use cases, it can replace actually the legal contracts that ties the funds to the company, and you are basically hedged by the blockchain. So it's pretty interesting.
Well, thank you for your thoughts. What are you most passionate about in Web3 going beyond tokenization, the most excited about?
Oh, it's pretty simple, like paradigm change. Everything will be changed with Web3. Every industry, like I'm not a Web3 maximalist, so I tend to be rational about this. I don't think that Web3 will, tear down the whole world, but I'm definitely convinced that it will get to each industry that we know today, and it will improve a lot of user experience, but also all the pain points that final consumers meet with specific companies will be removed thanks to Web3. So it will take time. And I think also that once people will be used to the notion, will be used to this practice, once people will have wallets, then it will get bigger, but we'll see. I cannot predict the future, unfortunately,
Going beyond tokenization of music, do you see in any other industries, I don't know, for example, in media or in production or something, how specifically Web3 or tokenizations or implementing NFTs will change our traditional way, how we do live, how we do business, specific industries?
I think the most interesting one is real estate, actually, because you can attach liquid assets to illiquid assets. So it's pretty interesting. And I think there are also a lot of middlemen who are not really useful, who are, benefiting from the position to make money on the back of, struggling people. So I think it will be interesting. I also think that in any kind of cultural industry, NFTs and Web3 will, really change a lot of things in the value chain, but also how people get paid. How do you verify the authenticity of a specific artwork or, movie, recording, any kind of, item that has got an artistic value. So yeah, I think actually like Web3 is applicable to any kind of industry, but maybe it will start with those ones.
By the way, the event industry, tickets for events will be sold and available in form of NFT. This is concept which is already been implemented. And talking about FCC 5, if somebody is listening for us now and say, okay, I want to visit Paris, I dream to visit Paris FCC, how should he or she prepare for visiting? What should he do first before coming to Paris and find you or another good guys on this conference? Your main recommendations and suggestions for using this event?
Yeah, like actually, like my recommendation would be so talking about FCC, right?
Yes, FCC in July.
Yeah, because there are other events. So actually at FCC there are a lot of great side events. So if you'd like to share a drink and talk about Web3 stuff and debate around specific notions, you definitely need to attend side events. We at Bolero will be doing something too. We will be organizing a side event. It's not announced yet, but just follow our social media accounts and you will get notified. And also what I suggest is it's cool to, hear talks, ask questions during panels and Q&A sessions, but it's always nice also to see the companies which have got stands inside the conference, because it's a unique way to share ideas and debate with people, and sometimes Twitter is not enough. It's good to see people in real.
Well, I thought now we are Envelop cross-chain, and FTC is the Ethereum conference. Do you recommend for other blockchain fans to visit SCC, and why?
Yeah, sure. I think like actually we are a team. Every blockchain is supporting each one. So the more we grow, the more we share ideas, the more like the journey will be great. And so even if you are a Solana maximalist, an AVA maximalist, or any kind of other protocols, you should go to the Ethereum conferences.
So that's a great point, that we still do not have a war of blockchains for now, and possibly we will have.
I really don't think it's relevant to have a blockchain war, but that's my own view.
Events are a good way to learn about Web3 for example, for newbies to understand what's going on the cutting edge? And what are your favorite ways to learn about Web3, especially for newbies or non-tech persons? How would you suggest to learn Web3 beyond events?
Yeah, so actually, first point, watch and read a lot of content, but do it in an objective way. So think about that in Web3, a lot of people are trying to, are basically writing content and sometimes writing some bullshit to sell their thing. So be aware of that, and just find the YouTube channels and all the things that you like, all the people that you like, also where there's a human fit, kind of, and learn. So learn on YouTube, visit Mirror, visit Medium, learn about articles, see, get updates about all the protocol updates, because sometimes it's really interesting to have this in mind. If you are thinking about new use cases, you still have to be really aware about the state of the art. And finally, I'd simply say experiment. So buy some stuff, see how you feel during the journey, try to be critical on the experience that you live, and see where you can maybe improve this experience and where you can, I don't know, add value.
And try to use, for example, Bolero, or try to collect.
Yeah, you definitely need to be signed up on Bolero. For the record, we actually offer one fan token to each user who connects the wallet. So you can benefit from that. It's $10 on average.
Well, if you're, let's say, a musician or a group in Paris watching us right now, and they want to try, what should they do? What steps to how to reach you, how to try?
Yeah, so actually you can simply sign up as an artist on Bolero. You just have to share with us your links, any kind of useful information, your contact details, obviously, and then the music team at Bolero will be reaching out to you to see how we could help you leverage Web3 and jump in the space in a secure way.
I hope Bolero isn't localized. It's not regarding just only France and French musicians and French people. Is it?
No. We have a lot of artists. So we have artists in the Middle East, in the UK, in the US. We also have people in Brazil. So no, it's large catalog, and we have a lot of releases coming in the planned for the coming weeks. So even if you are at the opposite side of the world, I think you will find something that you like.
Well, our marketer, Jonathan, who suggested your contact to me, he's in Brazil now. So Jonathan, if you hear us now, just pay attention and connect Brazil musicians to,
for sure,
maybe they will try to rap anything with them well. So some of people who I'm talking to on the podcast, they name the way to learn Web3 is to follow the main thought leaders in Web3. There are a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot. Do you have your thought leaders, your Web3 stars whom you are following on Twitter, for example? And if you do have, who are they?
Yeah, sure. So obviously there is the Bolero team. So we are pretty advanced on the topic. So if you want to learn easily, you can simply follow this BoleroMusic social media, my account, William Bailey, and other people in the team, Tristan Bochu, for instance. And then people I like in the Web3 space, you can follow Adam Levy, who has got a really good podcast, which is called Mint. You can follow also, there are a lot of talks around A16Z, which is a pretty famous VC fund. They are pushing out a lot of great content. All the team around OpenSea also is pretty interesting. And finally, I simply suggest that you follow, all the team around Ethereum. So there are a lot of independent developers working on the Ethereum protocol. So I suggest that you follow them because they are sharing a lot of interesting knowledge.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has never been easier nowadays to learn about Web3 because a lot of free open resources, starting from thought leaders to the great podcasts or even books from thought leaders, are available. Just you wish to learn and try to use Web3, or even to create your own project. And of course, visit events. And if you are in Paris or somewhere around, visit FTC in July 19 or 21st this year. Meet William Bailey, the CEO of BoleroMusic, and his team. That's a great entry point to Web3. So thank you for watching and listening to Envelop podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and join the Web3 movement. Join our YouTube channel, join our Telegram chat, ask your questions in the comment, and stay tuned for next episode of the DAO Envelop podcast. Bye-bye. Blockchain. B-L-O-C-K chain. Digital money, smart contracts, NFT, IDO, decentralization, transparency. So many opportunities, but so many challenges. Some financial manipulators, by their actions, confuse blockchain solutions and block their development. The idea that the blockchain should bring copyright and royalties protection to the next level is quite old, but the realizations of these ideas are not perfect at all. There is another problem of determining the value of a particular cryptocurrency or NFT. These and other problems need to be solved. Fortunately, the blockchain infrastructure is evolving. My name is E, Mr. E, and I represent the Envelop project. Many things have already been invented in the blockchain today. Tokens, smart contracts, platforms for creating your own coins, NFTs, exchanges for buying, selling, and exchanging all these blockchain resources. Envelop is another step in the development of crypto technologies. The protocol that works with NFT and cryptocurrencies. The idea is simple but disruptive. Let's assume you have an NFT, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Using the Envelop protocol, you can wrap the original NFT accompanied with several tokens. Technically, you get a similar NFT, but what is the breakthrough here? Once wrapped, the token has a number of additional features that were not available before. The minimal cost appears. It is provided with coins wrapped together with NFT. An asset wrapped with Envelop has a number of properties that allow the original author to receive royalties from the resale of that asset. Various rules can be applied to the wrapped token. For example, a lock period for unwrapping. It secures the asset till the determined moment or safeguards it from speculation during the hype period. At the same time, wrapped tokens can be transferred and traded. These are just some of the scenarios for using Envelop. NFTs become more popular, and the tools provided by Envelop expand the opportunities of NFTs utilization. Wide application possibilities are achieved due to the fact that, in addition to the protocol, the project includes a number of subsystems. The protocol provides functions wrapping and unwrapping. Oracle mechanics provides asset valuation using analytical algorithms. Index provides a summary assessment of several NFT assets with the common criteria. The project has its own token, which connects all elements of the system. Altogether, this is Envelop, a tool in the blockchain world for building modern and secure systems in various fields. Find more info about the project on the website. Envelop. Make your NFT valuable. Just practical, no hype.